Honorable Prime Minister, Ministers of Government, Chief Secretary, Members of Parliament, all distinguished guests. When I came here and I saw the large assemblage of ministers and dignitaries, I thought, well, maybe we're doing the swearing-in ceremony after. I see somebody shifting uncomfortably. But, you know, the thing is, I am happy and enthralled that we have such a large gathering of persons here for this celebration. And it is indeed a celebration in Tobago. When you think of it, what is an airport terminal? A terminal is the transition point between ground transport and air transport. It facilitates that transition. That's the purpose of your terminal. So therefore, this building represents the last thing a traveler sees when the last thing a traveler sees when they leave the country, and it also represents the first thing that someone sees as a new arrival to Tobago. And let me tell you why that is important. First impressions matter. You never get a second chance to make a first impression. So any visitor coming to Tobago, if you've never been here before and you come and you see this facility, you will say, well, yeah, boy, these people, they're serious. So this is a necessary first step in our tourism, overview, that we will say, well, look, we have an excellent terminal that persons can come to. But it is just a first step. It's not the last. We need to also focus, as Pastor Frank said. Pastor Frank he's right on the money. He's right on the money with it. And I could tell you, Pastor Frank, I'm sure you got a lot of new members here today, based upon your delivery. You will see your church full on Sunday, So the thing is, we have to understand that we need to focus on the hotel room stock, heads on beds. We need to ensure that we get that quality room stock. And I need to make this point. We are not saying that you don't have the mom and pop operations where, somebody may have 2 rooms under their house and, Mr. John Brown and his wife, they running it on Airbnb. Nothing's wrong with that. But let's be realistic. Let's be practical. That cannot bring in major airlines. Virgin Airlines is not going to come to Tobago because Mr. John Brown has 2 apartments below his house. We need to ensure we have the large brand name hotels which will bring the airlines. Let's be realistic. Let's be serious about this. What's the point of us having this type of facility if we do not have the throughput of passengers to ensure that we can now say, yes, this was a job well done, well worth it in the long run. So let's understand these things and let's not be making, silly and foolish objections to things which end up being an obstacle to progress. I've always said, it's quite possible to have development taking place along with preservation of the economy and the ecology and everything hand in hand. You look at Atlantis in Bahamas. You look at Atlantis in Dubai. You look at how they've done these things. Come on, it's not rocket science. Okay? This has been done the world over, and we can do it. If you think back, even that Saman Grove development we have here in Tobago, remember that was part of a larger development which was supposed to have a 5-star hotel in the very same area where there were objections when Sandals came. Let's understand that. All the drawings, I've seen all the drawings. Nobody objected then. So we have to understand that, look, even though we preserve our ecology, we preserve our ecosystem, we can still have development in a meaningfully sustainable way that we still ensure that the environment is not harmed or damaged in the process. Apart from the hotel room stock, we need to now engage with the airlines. Once we have that, we need to ensure that the airlines are coming here, and it has to be coming here in a manner where they are filled with people. The front of the plane is filled. That's something that Chris James always keeps emphasizing. Make sure you have the front of the plane filled, because persons want to come and have a quality experience in Tobago. Now that segues right into the question of service. And I say to Tobagonians, do not mix up or confuse service with servitude. You can offer high quality service without it being servitude. We need to understand this. All over the world, people look for that high level, that high quality of service. I will tell you, some years ago, I was in Australia, in Melbourne, at the Crown Towers Hotel. And this is one of the nice 5-star hotels. And after the second day, most of the staff members were referring to me as, "Hi, Mr. George." And I was like, huh? I don't know you. You know, but they took the time and trouble to get to know the names of guests. And this is at a time, in fact, that same week that we were there, Tom Cruise and his wife Nicole Kidman were there in the same hotel. So you have big high-profile guests. And you actually had your staff members taking time to know the name of a little nobody like me. That impressed me. I tipped them very generously as a result. Because I kid you not. You felt special. You felt, well, wow, these people really care. And that's what we need to understand in Tobago. Let me tell you, tourism is not a difficult thing, you know. We need to understand what tourism is about. I have given my own definition of what I think tourism is. And I have said, tourism is a way of pleasantly separating a visitor from his money in a way that he so enjoys the experience that he's willing to come back again, and he will tell all his friends to come back again because he had such a great time. Tourism is part of what you have to consider as the overall experience, the visitor experience. That is what matters. It has to go beyond seawater and sand, people. Everybody has seawater and sand, you know, and plenty places have it nicer than us, better than us. Let's be real. We love our beaches. We love Pigeon Point. We love Cotton Bay. We love all those, Pirates Bay, all those beaches. But let's understand, we don't have anything unique in those. Plenty other places have those. You drive down the Florida Keys. You could stop anywhere. You stop Marathon, you stop Islamorada, you stop any of those. And listen, man, fantastic beaches. Beautiful, clear water, lovely snorkeling, diving, everything. So we have to understand that our package has to be more than just saying, well, look, we have nice Pigeon Point, we have Storby. No, we have to go beyond that. We have to ensure from the time a visitor lands, okay, yes, so we have a nice terminal, but even the experience with the customs, the immigration, and stuff like that, that has to be smooth, it has to be seamless, it has to be integrated. Now, I'm not making any case about the removal of the forms because I had that discussion with Minister Mbe already as to the difficulty and challenges of removing those forms. But, I mean, we have to get to a point where those forms are done away with and you do this thing online, right? Because the tediousness of filling out these things, it's really ridiculous, right? So you have that. Then you think also, okay, when you are there, you come through customs, you are greeted by your taxi service. How are you treated? Is it that the taxi driver is going to try to stiff you or overcharge you because they will? Come on, people. We have to evolve beyond that. That's not tourism. Because that person is going to go back and say, hey, nah, boy, those people, I remember I was in Milan some years ago and talking to a travel agent who said, Tobago. She said she used to send lots of people to Tobago. She said, two things they come back and tell me. High price, low service. And I felt so embarrassed. Now hopefully we are changing that. We are moving towards elevating the level and quality of our service, but we need to understand that's an integral part of what we need to deliver to the visitor so that they will keep coming back. When you look at it all, we have something, listen, I'll tell you, Tobago is a place that, it's hard to define it. This place has, and ethereal quality that you can't put your finger on it. You feel it the minute you step off the plane and you come out, you feel like, boy, the air feels different. It feels fresher, it feels sweeter. You start to feel more relaxed immediately. It is a quality that we have that is innate to Tobago, that is, it's part of the essence of our Tobagonianness. It maybe comes from the blood, sweat, and tears of our ancestors, and runs through our veins still. We need to tap into that spirit, tap into that strength to say, look, we are going to lift Tobago. We are going to start with this terminal as our starting point, our first step, but let us start taking the other steps to ensure that we now bring together a total seamless package of a tourism product that is world-class, that is internationally recognized, and that we can all be proud of. The same way we are proud of this facility. When you think of it, in the tourism market, we are up against some heavy hitters, even in the Caribbean. You talk Cuba, you talk Dominican Republic, you talk Puerto Rico, you talk Jamaica, you talk Bahamas. We know we're in their league. So therefore, we are starting way behind everybody else. So we have to understand we have to do more and do better. The car rental company Avis, you know what their motto was? Because for years they were behind Hertz, as Hertz was the number one. And Avis says, listen, we are going to always strive to do better. Right? So in other words, they want to win the customers away from Hertz by doing better than Hertz. So that's what we have to do in Tobago, We can't just do the ordinary. We have to do even better than, the competition. Right? So we need to understand that, look, things are not cast in stone. Changes can be made. Quality can always be improved. You think back to Samsung. Almost half of the crowd here would have a Samsung phone, right? Okay. Do you know a couple decades ago, Samsung was an almost useless brand. It was known for low quality, right? That's what it was known for, right? Samsung was no good. It was useless, pointless. And the chairman then said, hey, listen, you know what? I'm going to take all the Samsung products. He piled them up in the car park. He brought in some steamrollers, and he crushed everything. He said, right, good. I want you workers to understand that is the past. We are now turning a chapter and a new page in terms of quality. And now, all of us using our Samsung phone, and we're happy with the quality. So the same way, let this be the new chapter for Tobago. Let this be our turning point. Because we have something here of world-class quality, which can now be the fillip and boost to elevate our tourism and take it to the highest possible level. Thank you very much.